been a wonderful day that we've had since morning because we have the who is who from adventure and responsible tourism who have come over here from the industry directly. And it's like Northeast Meet where we have the, people coming all the way from Sikkim, Boreland, Arunachal Pradesh, and, it's like getting together of a family, and especially Shillong because it matters a lot for all of us in the Northeast, as Shillong has been the place, the hub for thinkers, the hub for intellectuals, and also the hub for a lot of activities for this entire Eastern Indian subcontinent. So it's nice to catch up with everyone. Yes, I think the best thing that has happened over here is not the conventional talks that we have been always having, because we had policymakers here, we had the industry specialists, we had the youth, who came from the different tourism academics. So in this get-together, it was very important to talk about sustainability in adventure tourism, how the locals would benefit much more from the different adventure activities that take place in the different destinations across the country and the Himalaya in special. Second, what came up, that it is easier to create a destination, but it is much more tough to keep it moving, because so that it doesn't become non-sustainable. The footfalls do not go to an extent which is beyond the capacity. That was the second takeaway from here. And the third, certainly, which came up so distinctly, that we only talk about aerosports and the land-based trekkings, campings, and the water-based sports, but there is adventure tourism much beyond all these three, from wildlife, birding to, getting into the World War II pilgrimages, getting into rural tourism. So it's, when we talk about Northeast, the best takeaway was, for the entire country, when they immerse over here in the Northeast as an Indian, they would certainly emerge as an Asian from here. So that was the biggest takeaway that came up from here. So far, to just tell you, adventure tourism has been one of the backbones of the special interest tourism, and over here what we have seen, it's on the right track, because the stakeholders of the industry, they try and think on the right space, and they try to come together to think on the right lines. Secondly, everyone over here agrees that the local community has to take the maximum stake of the adventure activities that is happening in the places, the destinations, and which fortunately in case of India has taken a lead into this, where we find most of our destinations, adventure destinations, the guides, the hospitality service providers, even the skills that has already been set up by the different state governments and the government of the center, the way they have looked into skill for adventure. But we still have a long way to go, because we do not have the SOPs in place, we do not have any rescue system backup till date for our adventure program. So these are things, the wilderness first aid, so these are things I think we need to rope in maybe immediately after this workshop, because everybody from policymakers to stakeholders have understood this stage. Yes. See, in fact, the first place out of Shillong, because initially Meghalaya was only known for the Umiam Lake, the Barapani Lake, and Shillong. Actually, this was the traditional circuit that was always there from the colonial times. But when Mawlynnong came up as a clean village destination, Mawphlang was another destination that came up for the sacred groves and the camping. Along with that, when adventure first came up with the Captain Scott's route, that was something where the adventure seed was put in. But today we see, Meghalaya as one of the great adventure destinations, with its motorsports, with its trekking destinations, with caving, and especially with wildlife, because it is time when Meghalaya should look into two different entries, maybe for the regular leisure entries, the Guwahati-Shillong route is the route that has been always been there. But we should also look at the route through Boroland, through Goalpara, and then coming through the Garo Hills, because that would be the adventure and wildlife route, where people with the special interest would take that route so that they can avoid these jams and the shops and the shopping and the other stuff, and then finally maybe through William Nagar come and meet in Shillong. So Shillong would certainly remain the place for convergence, but then I think it is high time that we should look into the Garo Hills as one of the entry points for special interest tourism.